Africans still speak French, English, Portuguese, even though colonization ended years ago? They could just go back to their languages, right? No, that's not how it works. And the answer to your question is colonial violence. People underestimate the level of violence Imperial Europe utilized on Africa and even the design nature of this violence. How much this colonial violence changed the physical space, and the physical space is directly linked with what language people utilize, how they utilize it, and how they develop it. I wrote an essay reflecting on the nature and aftermath of colonial violence. It's available on Substack, but since you don't want to read it, I'll repeat myself a little. Colonialism imposed a different paradigm on us, an alien system, as Fela Kuti will say. The language question will go together with why African countries kept those colonial borders even after independence. Within those nation states, people's reality were altered to serve Europe economic interest. That's why you get capital cities and big cities at the coast where extraction of resources is easier to the west, rather than in places that makes centralized administration for the states easier. So different groups of people are forced into a centralized government and their resources are misallocated, with way higher investment in urban center than other places, and people have to move to those urban centers, which already in itself is a violence from both the colonial administration and also the post-colonial administration, really. And within those urban centers, which are already paradigms of their own and has a lot of influence regarding how the rest of the country is moving, those diverse people need a language to exist within those colonial structures. The amount of violence it took to make French or English or whatever the language used within those urban centers is the same one that is going to be utilized if people don't carefully think about the ways in which we reclaim our identity. Colonial violence is over a long period of time, people having to move from where they are from to come to those urban centers to hope for a better life because how resources are misallocated. It's people having to give up on their tribal language and buy into those other languages if they want access to something. It's even physical and corporal violence to make somebody into something else. Forced intermarriage between ethnicities and forced migration are things that have changed the reality of people. One of the reasons why countries didn't give up on the colonial borders, because it's like, okay, we erase it and would we send where? Because colonial violence has altered our reality so much. In places like the Congo with our 200 plus languages, which language do we take to make the official one after Belgium is kicked out? Taking into consideration the fact that everybody will say, what about my language? What about my language? What about my language? Make one be universally accepted by everybody. What do we use? Colonial violence again? And I'm not making this video to say that we should keep colonial borders and European languages and romanticize them. What I'm trying to say is we should think very carefully regarding ways in which we go about addressing those identity issues, those existential issues, because the only reason those things are what they are today even is because of an extended and harsh violence that was utilized toward the people that you can't just undo overnight.